asks us our goals. When we live under God's faithfulness, it makes us a special people, a different people that lived on the planet Earth. And they came in the land of the children of Israel. They were in the land of Egypt. And there was a famine in the land. And everybody were crying. And God said to the children of Israel, I shall show you my faithfulness. And God make a very good provision for them. It was called a land of the Goshen. Those things will happen to them that we might learn the glory and the faithfulness of God. But the Christians of today, they felt that God has failed. Some felt that God has abandoned them. Some felt that God does not live anymore. Some felt that God has disappointed them. Some felt that God has not been able to answer their prayer. And because God have not done this and God have not done that, God is not faithful. And we have forgotten to look inwardly our lives and ask ourselves, do we have faith? The Bible says we live not by sight. By sight it may be difficult. By sight there may be distraction. That by sight there may be sickness or affliction. By sight it may be like something is not working. By sight the nation is drinking under inwardly. By sight look right, look left, things look difficult. But we live not by sight, but we live by faith. Tell somebody, I'm living by faith. Shout to somebody, I am living by faith. When you wake up in the morning, you know that everything about you is faith. Salvation by faith, sanctification by faith, Holy Ghost baptism by faith. If you are going to ever get anything from God, I am going to be an exception. And what makes me exception from others is by living a life of faith, believing that God has spoken, and I believe it, and so shall it be unto me. You will not believe what people says. When others are crying, you are smiling because I have a God. When others are weeping, you are jumping because that is a God of you are boasting, you are relying upon. Let somebody say here. Paul said in the Corinthians, for we live by faith, not by sight. Anyone that lives by sight will die before his time. Anyone that lives by what he sees, we end up with a spirit of worry and anxiety. Anyone that lives by sight will never be able to see the end of the day. Neither will the enemy blessing come onto his life, because all the things around about us does not speak good about a woman being. I am not talking about only Nigeria. The world is not friendly. You go to America, the same thing. You go to China, they are crying. You go to India, they are crying. You go to Japan, they are crying. You go to Asia country, they are crying. You come to Africa country, they are crying. You know why? The world is dreaming to almost the end of time. But the only people that can succeed and still succeed thereafter are only those that live by faith, holding God on what God says. Where others fail, I must succeed. If there is anybody that need to take from this job, I am number one. Somebody say here. You know, sometimes people come for prayer. I say, listen, if there is anyone that needs to be favored in the midst of 5,000, they say there are 10,000, there are 20,000. As if there is anyone that needs to be favored. Forget about your stature. Forget about your qualification. Forget whether you are handsome or beauty. You are the one that needs to be favored in the midst of the crowd. Is someone hearing me? You don't go to anywhere like a person who don't have a faithfulness of God in him. You should move like a king. Remember the other day the Bible said that you were the Bible said in the book of Peter, you are a royal priesthood, a peculiar people, a priest of God, a royal priesthood. He didn't call you a priest. He said you are royal. A royal is people respected and honored. Wherever you enter, people see you as a different person. If I'm going to live under God's faithfulness, I'm going to give you 5 steps that you must know. I will make do only 2 because I don't have time. Number 1, God's faithfulness in providing for you. Has God's faithfulness failed in providing for you? Can I talk to you? In Philippi chapter 4 verse 19. In Philippi chapter 4 verse 19. God's faithfulness in giving you provisions. You know, the children of Israel cried in the wilderness. They said, Moses, can you imagine people eating onions, ayabosa, onions and cucumber? And I'm at taste onions and cucumber. One day I'm going to taste onions and cucumber. Let me see how it's sweet. Lord, what makes these people to fail that onions and cucumber is better than the manna from heaven? Praise the Lord. But that is showing you unfaithfulness of a man in the midst of faithful God. It is woman being that unfaithful. Because if we are faithful, we begin to inherit the faithfulness of God. Somebody say here. Unfaithful. If I come to this place, you want God to prosper you. You want God to bless you. Do you pay tithes? How many of you pay your tithe? I was hearing the sister was saying something. He said, I have a covenant with God.